Hey there, pen fans. This is Dave, and I wanted to talk a little bit about flying with pens. I just did that this week. I had a flight from Denver International to Portland on the left coast, which is around sea level, and then back. And I brought with me 5 pens, and they all did pretty well with the exception of the Esterbrook. The Esterbrook had a little bit of ink. I've already cleaned this off, so no point in showing it to you, but there was a little bit of ink showing up on this side here and this side here, and also inside the cap. When you fly and you open up your pens after you get down to the ground, always check the cap and make sure that there isn't any ink in here, because this is the part that'll really ruin your day. The other pens that I have were Macropa Elmo 01, which no dripping. Then we have the Fiore by Leonardo. This one did really well, probably because it was almost out of ink. I ran out on the flight back, and so there really wasn't that much in there to leak. This is the Macropa Tar VCM, and you can see there's no drips or anything like that. You can see the green sheen from the Lamy Dark Lilac. Would like to see what the other Dark Lilac is like someday. I understand the sheen was red. And then I have I have a Leonardo Memento Zero Masterpiece here. And this one was perfectly fine, and it's completely full. There's a little bit of ink at the tip there, but that is from me writing with it. But they did pretty well. So I have 4 tips for you for flying with pens. And they should all make pretty good sense here. So first of all, try to clean your pen. If you can remove all of the ink before you leave, that's your best bet. No ink, no chances for leaking. The corollary, completely fill your pen. Try to remove all of the air from the reservoir. If you have a bubble in there, try to make the bubble as small as possible. And for a piston filler, fill it up as much as you can, and then try to tap the bubble up and make sure it comes out at the top. And then you can even twist the bubble out a little bit more, forcing at least a little bit of ink out of the top, and then blot it off. And that will get rid of the bubble on the inside. The reason we want to do that is because as we change altitude, the bubble's going to want to expand. And to do that, it's going to be pushing against the ink. The ink is not compressible, so it needs to go somewhere. And typically, it wants to go out of the section and into the nib. Tip number 3 is to choose your pens wisely. If you can, use a vacuum filler or a Japanese style eyedropper. They both have the same basic construction, actually, and that is a body with a rod in here, and then essentially a cork or a stopper. To use either of them, you have to back that cork off a little bit, and that allows the ink to flow from this reservoir into the section and into the feed. And when you're not using it, you can watch as I activate it. You tighten down the blind cap, and that causes it to seal off the reservoir from the section, preventing the ink from flowing through. So better choice of pens is one way you can prevent any sort of leaks. My 4th and final tip is something that might be a little bit counterintuitive, but that is to loosely cap your pen. The cap has basically 3 functions. One is to prevent the nib from getting bunged up. It's also there to prevent ink from getting all over the place as it's floating around in your backpack or purse or briefcase. The 3rd and final thing is sealing off the nib from the outside environment and preventing it from drying out. that's well and good, but for traveling, that kind of works against us because now we've trapped in a basically compressed air on this side. As we reach altitude, the pressure in the plane is dropping. And so now we have a low pressure zone on the outside. So when we uncap it in flight, we've basically just had an explosive decompression on this end here. And that's going to cause all the air to rush out through the cap and out. When that happens, there's also going to be a tendency for that ink to want to get out of here because that bubble is going to want to expand now that there's a low pressure system in here. Because before, the only thing that was preventing the bubble from trying to expand was the fact that there was a high pressure system on the other side. So these two parts were equalized before, and now they're not. So now this part here is going to suddenly want to rush out this way here. If you leave it loosely capped, that pressure change is going to be more gradual. That's the way I treat my pens when I'm traveling. And as you just saw, my pens perform pretty well. All of these pens that I demonstrated or did my little show and tell with here are cartridge converter, piston filler, cartridge converter, piston filler. So all of these pens here are not the most ideal selections, but they all did pretty well. Let's do a quick recap. First of all, try to clean your pen out completely. If you can't do that, then try to fill it completely. Use a pen with a stopper feature. And then lastly, leave your pens loosely capped. I hope you found this interesting or informative. Please give it a like if you did, and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and be well.